right, how's everybody doing? It is towards the end of April, and this is just sort of a status update on how things are going with the CCRS processing for those of you in Washington. The processing is still going pretty slowly. The plus side of it, I guess, is that the state system has started processing things a little quicker. What we're looking at right here is just some of our old logs, and you can see this is stuff happening just towards the end of the month here for manifest upload. You know, that's the documents that we want to see. And here's some B2B incoming transactions. They're only taking 18 hours to process. And that's pretty good because, you know, if we go back a whole bunch of days ago, you can see the system was taking like 2 days and 9 hours. So like 60 hours or something like this was how long the system was taking to process. And that sort of caused a bunch of problems because, you know, when you have this incoming thing and it's getting processed and all this stuff is happening out of sync with each other, and then the B2B stuff needs the inventory, but the inventory's not there yet because we're waiting 48 hours, and then the B2B errors, and then we have to retry that. But it also indicates there could be a problem with the inventory, so you have to retry the inventory, and you get, you know, stuck in some sort of tedious retry loop. And what was really terrible when the CCRS platform was very slow was those loops, they kept compounding, you know? So that was like, are we ever going to be able to catch up? And we kept track of like how long CCRS was taking to do work. This goes back to the beginning of 2024. Let's sort of like zoom in on this so it's easier for folks to see. 2024, you know, you can see this is hours, minutes, and then seconds. There were some blips in 2024, and you can sort of see this is the total number of minutes right here, 15. There was some pretty big outliers in 2024. But I think that for these big outliers across these 3 weeks here, could just skip it. You know, there were some problems. So let's throw those 3 pieces of data out because these are significant outliers in July, whatever was going on there. And then CCRS is like largely stable, a little hiccup here towards the end of 2024, largely stable. And then 2025 starts right here, and look at this. It's taking slightly more than an hour here, 78 minutes to process. And then all of a sudden, here in the beginning, the second week of February, this thing jumps up to start taking, this is 10 hours, 11 hours to process. 4 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours. Something else funny happened. We don't know what, but this is like the 3rd week of March. And now the thing kicks in, and it's taking 23, 20. And you can see at the end of March, it got even worse. 76 hours for processing, 62 hours for processing, 59 hours for processing. And of course, this is only capturing 1 day's worth of work, but this 1 day is looking pretty good so far with an 8-hour average. Like, we jumped from 60 to 600 to 4,000 in terms of like, let's measure this by minutes. You know, this is almost like 2 orders of magnitude jump. And so we, OpenTHC, and the other software vendors in the space have sort of been dealing with this, what the crap is going on with the system slowness. We also track by day what the sort of like average response time is for that platform. So day by day, you can see the thing in early January, we're looking at 1 and 2 hours, 1 and 2 hours. And all of a sudden it's like February 10th is when this thing kicked off. Started taking 12, 18, larger numbers right over here. Had a good day on the 23rd, and then all of these numbers are like up, 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 up. Had a good day on the 2nd. This is also dependent on how many files we're processing. So if we've fired off 600 files across the day to CCRS, and they happen to be the slow kind, we'll come back to what that means in a second, you know, we'll get good performance. Otherwise, if there's standard uploads and that needs to be required, that's when we start seeing these bigger, these longer times. Anyways, here we are, March 17. So let's see, where was that week of the blip? Here was that week of the blip in February. matching what we saw in the weekly numbers. And then here's some stuff that's happening here towards the third week of March. We start taking like 22 hours, 18 hours, 44 hours, 67 hours, 52, 26, 87, 92, 110, 106, 108. So some of these, this is now 2 orders of magnitude different from the normal processing time. Normally we're looking at, not normally, but ages ago we had been looking at 60 minutes average, again, right, with some outliers here and there. Then we were looking at 600-minute averages, again, sort of roughly with some outliers. And now here we're seeing like a peak. This is a peak value of the things, but these daily values, this is 2 orders of magnitude. This is 6,000 minutes, 100 hours. Not 10 hours, not 1 hour, not 10 hours, 100 hours. And you can see that this was going on in the beginning of April, all across April. And what was really unfortunate is a couple of clients had inspections, and the inspector says, hey, I don't see your data in CCRS. Right, well, I uploaded it 192 hours ago, so like what are we, what can I really do? We're waiting on that system to process. So slow. And then here's getting ready for like the weekend of 4/20, and you can see we had another big super spike of slowness for whatever reason. And then it was also slow for days and days after. Today, we're looking at some pretty good averages for the 28th. And of course, the 29th, it's just now started. So, well, all these dates are UTC. So, we've only done a few things today. Now, let's talk about how these timing averages actually kind of work. And I'm going to say kind of because we're calculating everything from when the thing was created to when it got updated. And one of the things you might notice here is that these B2B incomings, or processing, and these other things, haven't really processed yet. And at the moment, I've got 205 outstanding requests into the CCRS platform. Let's scoot forward a little bit. You see, I've got inventory and section and inventory. And why is there like multiple inventory uploads? Well, sort of the thing that happens is somebody creates an inventory, and these are all for different licensees. I've just got it like blurred out right here. But even for the same licensee, they might have 2 inventory uploads in the same hour. Receive some material, inventory upload, creates a record, let's upload that inventory. Upload some other material, create some other material, that's new inventory, you're going to upload that. We got to upload the stuff to CCRS in a close to real-time fashion, because if the inventory is not in CCRS, I can't generate the manifest. And the LCB says we have to have the manifest to do any transfers. Well, that's okay, because the manifest is taking, days to respond. But here is where we talk about, those things happen out of order. Something has gone on, and the LCB has told us that they've, added special threads for processing and things of that nature. So maybe that's what's happening with this, but these B2B outgoing uploads, this is the sale. This is a sale from one licensee to another. This is me recording stuff that I've sent. Again, we've blurred out some of this stuff. But this thing happened really, really quick. It got an error message too. I know if I open that error message, it'll show the licensee's data. But I already know what the error message is. This B2B outgoing transaction, this sale file, it failed because the inventory that it's trying to sell has not yet been accepted by CCRS. It's probably in one of these previous uploads of inventory right here. Because the habit from the licensee is, I'm going to make the inventory in my system by receiving it, by processing it, by doing a conversion or whatever. Now I'm going to put it on a manifest and I'm going to sell it to somebody. And the licensees are all used to working in real time. Most of the systems in this universe work in real time, not Washington, but everybody else does. Anyways, so then these B2B outgoings, they fail. And this happens whether CCRS takes 60 minutes or whether CCRS takes 6,000 minutes. It's just that each one of those, we have to wait that amount of cycle time to be able to like repair the data in CCRS. And so you can see if you're waiting 100 hours to repair 2 blobs of data, now we're looking at like 200 hours to repair these data blobs in this system, and then wait for it to respond somewhere between 0 and 14 hours. So these ones are processing really quick, right? This one, fortunately, our system retries. This is probably some data that went before. Oh, here's one that definitely is a secondary upload success. Like, we did the upload, the data failed, so the system knows that and then tries to upload and then has a double check to make sure that it's been repaired. That's our status 202 means that to us. 200, this is the first success. We got to double check our work. And all these 400s are, I'm absolutely certain, failing because they are not able to get inventory external identifier. I want to show you, but I don't want to show you. Here we go. Invalid external identifier, invalid. And these duplicates, this is actually good. That means this record and this record, they've actually been accepted into CCRS. So this one's really only a half failure, although our system tags it all as a failure. And those 2 records will be good. The other 2 records will be not good. And then the system will repair it at the next repair run, which, happens. We upload the data into CCRS in very close to real time. We get responses from CCRS occasionally. It gets batches, right? We check our mailbox, our batches like every 4 minutes. We check that mailbox. And then if there's something in it, but you can see sometimes CCRS takes like hours for us to get any response. Like these have been since 1 hour ago. And if we go back here and we look even older, let's go back to when we got a response for some type 1 or type 2 data. Manifest is a special case. B2B incoming is a type 3 data, right? It's the group 3 data, excuse me. Here's an inventory upload. So our last inventory upload, and we started the process on the 27th. We got an answer on the 28th. So it took 18 hours for the CCRS platform to handle it. And if we look at a lot of the stuff that we've uploaded here, it was all taking about 18 hours, except for this bad MF right here, B2B outgoing upload, 7 minutes to process. Again, because we know B2B outgoing, successfully processed even, we know those things happen to operate in a separate thread, right? The LCB has told us that. But all this other stuff, we're waiting 18 hours. This is days, hours, minutes here. We're waiting this amount of time for a response from the system. But like I said, the point of this status update, still taking a long time, still has this condition where some stuff is being processed out of order of other things that it's dependent on, and that's kind of a problem. But in the last 48 hours, the system has started responding faster. So we're moderately excited about that, and the terrible slowness that was occurring through most of March and April looks to be behind us.